in a deep lake with very clear water, and my friend suddenly drew my attention to some fish underneath. You don't all that often see fish in our murky waters, so this was a clear one. It was a perch, and a perch is a flattish kind of fish. It's a bit like a double-decker bus, and it has stripes down it, and it's very pretty. "See the perch," said my friend, and pointed down. "Face down, float on tongue and pier, goggles keep it clear, with bare eyes it is blink and glare, a sore blind blur. Then I see him, long as my shin, static, unseen, movement betrays him. His dark bars blend into reeds, but here there are none, just sandy fragments softened with pale mossy down. Perch do risk assessments. Here, out in the open, the predator pike can't lie in ambush. 2 yards above, 2 clumsy humans pose no threat. So he whiffles lazily along, nibbling unseen morsels among the stones. We watch, relish this quiet encounter. He moves without movement. We see no fin flick, not the tall dorsal with its jagged crest, not the red belly fins. The tail seems unmoving, but it can't be. He moves with grace and power. We wallow above him, inept, out of our zone. The cold water envelops and threatens, tries to kill us. Given long enough, it would. The perch is safe from that at least. He has no mortgage or rent, no speed limits, tax, divorce, no rules of any kind, just one: eat and avoid being eaten. Hang out with perch at mating time, avoid being eaten. Instinct keeps him from death, but I wonder, does he know what it is? We take our leave and start our swim, but it's a poor version of the perch. His effortless grace, our struggling in an alien medium. We are not water creatures, but inefficient artifacts, feet meant for walking, arms and hands for handling things, all make poor fins, goggles to find a way, hats to keep warm, silly scraps of cloth. For what? Preserve our modesty? Against what? Even naked we would be gangly, dangly, not fit for purpose. The perch is a gorgeous, efficient survival package, self-contained perfection. He will not be seen next time, maybe lurking in reeds, somewhere squelchy, where delicious creatures wriggle in the ooze, or perhaps dead, engulfed by the pike, just one of many dark secrets lurking in the murky water. Sometimes the splashing, laughing, and banter keep us from thinking of what there is below.
Beautiful.
I don't very often follow fish, but
that was great. I was getting lost in that there. I was starting to get into a wee bit of a trance listening to that. That was lovely.
Very beautiful.
I was just trying to be a fish. What is he doing down there? And I'm probably totally wrong, but I knew some of the things, and then added stuff of my own, mainly about the clumsiness of the humans. Have you ever thought about how poorly humans do if there were cross-specific Olympic games, you know, and you were competing against antelopes or buffaloes or any of those things? The only drag that we've got over those is that when the gun fires, we can get all the way around the track, but the animals can't do that because they don't understand the concept. If the animals understood the concept, they'd beat us hollow every time.
Alan, I felt a bit like that trying to go out your lake. I didn't know how to get out. I thought I was a fish.
Yeah,
When I rolled out, didn't I?
that's right.
I thought I was stuck in the water.
Yeah, I thought that was lovely, that Alan. So you're going to do like one more, Alan?
Yes, I can do my cold water assessment. People have said that they like this one. I imagine most of you, if you're active at this time of the year, familiar with some of the things in cold water. And I'd read a book about the people who'd put together the scales for the Richter scale for earthquakes. And then there's the wind scale as well, you know, where we've got an idea of what force 5 is because trees start to do a certain thing. So I thought that we could do this in light-hearted fashion for swimming. I've called it the Shiviggle scale because you shiver and you giggle. And if you don't do both of those things, you're not doing it properly. So the Beaufort scale is for assessing wind speed, Richter scale for earthquakes. Shiviggle scale S1. Each grade is a blend of conditions, state of individual victims, and giggle factors. S1, absence of shivers. Warm, friendly weather and water. Absolutely no reason for uneasy freezing. Smiles and general good humour. S2. Slightest of tremors. They present no dilemmas, except maybe how to conceal them. Undetectable trembling, no need for dissembling, and not really much need to heal them. Subtle quivering of waterside alders, the odd titter, nothing much yet. S3. Desperate fossicking down in our bags, careful packing replaced by these rags. Running the risk of being thought a bore, don't let that heat abandon your core. Everything's damp for goodness sake. And to make matters worse, I'm starting to shake, as are the trees as they bend at the knees, and the lake is presenting ominous ripples. At this point, some mild swearing and stifled snorts. S4. Unskillful handling of buttons and zippers, clumsy manoeuvres by quite a few dippers. Those you may think would prove to be stars seem to have trouble in fitting their bras. But we guys are hardly entitled to rant with our habit of sticking both legs down one pant. The mildest of stirring in more exposed bushes, faintest disturbance and rustling of rushes. S5. To drink coffee, you master involuntary shudders and avoid, if you can, those uncontrolled judders. Hot chocolate is warming and welcome, I guess. When it jumps sky high, it makes a fine mess. Cuddle your cups as winter grip tightens and the hostile fog and fearful frost frightens. Drinks in shaky hands, always good for a giggle or even a guffaw. S6. Cakes are now cut with the bluntest of knives. If they were sharp, we'd fear for our lives. With everyone now in a dithering shiver, a slice for you? Oh, all right, maybe a sliver. Can't manage a sliver, it must be a wedge. Oh, tar very much. Oh, it goes over the hedge. Some kinds of cake are hard to control. Perhaps not Battenberg, certainly Swiss roll. No wonder we're cold. There's frost underfoot. A sting in the air makes breath into smoke. The air is bracing. The cakes are delectable. To passers-by, we must make a fine spectacle. S7. Somebody's birthday. Champagne, not on ice. It's already too cold, so here's some advice. Don't open it. pour in glass and spill on the ground, then the individual drinker spreads it all round. Race drivers at their victory photo call pour champers on each other as their usual protocol. As we conclude this ritual, the giggles are almost continuous. S8. Thick ice and a white blanket of snow, a dull sheen of thin ice with no snow cover, pewter sky showing more of the same. Tools appear and an untidy, jagged hole hacked in the ice. Afterwards, do we walk barefoot in snow to the bags holding our meagre comforts? Of the frozen appendages, maybe feet are among the least useful. We just stand on them. Hands frozen into claws don't help in the rituals of dressing, cake cutting, coffee, and wine pouring. Other bits return slowly to life that may not be needed for hours or even days. This is the top shiver grade. If we shiver and giggle, all is well. The shiver adds to the fun. But a she victim who is not talking, joking, laughing, shouldn't be there, needs to go home and rethink. Clothing, warm-up tactics, time in the water, draw up tables of time, effort, and how to recover safely and enjoyably. We all swim at our own risk, but if we see somebody who's unhappy and not coping, then help should be at hand. Practical offers, or just talk. Otherwise, what is social swimming all about?
Oh, well done.
Beautiful.
Great stuff.
That was
Alan.
great. So true as well.
Yeah, that's great.
Had every single one of them. Some of them all in one day.
Loved it.
actually.
I've got your faces back, I think, now. It's kind of spooky when all the faces disappear. You're reading just to an oblong and you don't know whether you
Yeah, I didn't know
or not.
I didn't know whether to spotlight people or not. If you spotlight people, I think that's the effect you get. Or do you would people prefer it like this, like it is now?
Anyway,
I don't mind.
All right, cool.
If I'm reading, I like it is now because you've got some sense of how it's going with the people listening.
Cool. Yeah, it's hard, isn't it, online to get that reaction, and this is a better way when it's like this sort of gallery view. Right, well, Fiona from Greece, welcome.
Hello.
But yeah, so if we sort of go with, we've got 5 people on the list, and
Yeah, no more than 10 minutes. I
It's sort of
probably
10
won't
minutes,
even be
really.
that long.
so just see how long your poems are and what you can sort
Yeah.
of squeeze in and gauge people's reaction, which will be warm and friendly, I am very sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My poems are mostly quite short. So the backstory to this is that I came out to Greece in round about November a couple of years ago. So yeah, almost exactly 2 years ago, a little bit more than 2 years ago. And I'm living on an island called Egina, which is the closest island to Athens. I literally look across, from my veranda, I can see glimpses of the sea and glimpses of over Athens on the other side. And I was in the process of kind of like you move to a new place and you're full of the joy of it and the excitement of it. And I was falling in love with the island, and it really is the most amazing place. And then lockdown hit and I made the decision to stay. For various reasons, but largely because I'm in a vulnerable group, and if I'd gone back to Britain, I'd have had to shield, and that seemed like a much better bet to be on a Greek island within 200 metres of the sea than to be inside a house in Huddersfield. And so I stayed. And in that first lockdown, when I literally saw nobody apart from supermarket, because I didn't really know people at that point, apart from people at the supermarket once a week. I had this amazing explosion of creativity. Being on my own just seemed to unlock a whole load of stuff, including a collection of poetry that was about me falling in love with the island. And because I'm on an island, quite a few of my poems are watery. So I'm gonna, quite a lot shorter than Alan's. There, you know, I'm going to read you 3, I think. And that my poems tend to fall into two groups. They're either kind of very rich and evocative and a bit, you know, kind of full of imagery, or they're narrative and they rhyme and they're about people. Usually they tell a little mini story. And so I'm going to start with one of those, and it's called The 11 O'Clock Swimmers. And this is a phenomenon, and I noticed it early on because I'm a swimmer. So hopefully it'll paint a picture for you of what happens in the summer here. The 11 o'clock swimmers arrive about 10, though some wander off and then come back again. For the fun is in greeting and meeting and chat in their sunshiny dresses, bikinis and hats. They shout to each other, "Yasas" and "Yasu," as they pull off their clothes and kick off their shoes and line them all up in the shade of the trees, then climb down the steps to get into the sea. They laugh with each other and tell naughty jokes, and those who brought with them their hubbies and blokes poke gentle fun at their masculine airs, while the men all pretend they don't hear or don't care. They do a few stretches or swim up and down, staying close to the edges so nobody drowns, and they still wear their hats and they hold their heads high to keep hair and sunglasses carefully dry. Then the women relax in the shallows and talk, and the men fly off and go for a walk or sit in a cafe nearby for a time, while their wives become thoroughly pickled in brine. So soft bellies crumple like silken old wraps, and breasts curl up comfortably in ample laps. Talk becomes quieter and gently subsides as the strains of the day wash away on the tide. In this moment, the swimmers are fully revived, for they draw from the water new vigour and drive. "Calobagno," they call, and "Avrio, girls." Once the church clock strikes 12, they can take on the world.
Wow, beautiful.
Lovely. Lovely. Well done. That's
I hope
fabulous.
that brought you to Greece.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm right there.
Yeah, good.
Oh,
I think that's secured our next Bluetonic road trip right there. So thank you.
Well, it's been weird because I was expecting lots and lots of visitors, and I've had hardly any, as you can imagine, because lockdown and international travel has been so restricted. So yeah, I'd be happy to see people if they wanted to come and visit.
I want to join them swimmers.
Yeah.
I like the ladies in your poem that they're not making themselves out to be glamorous. They're all sort of comfortable and squashy, and that's how, you know, real life women are. And
Yeah.
I personally, as a man, get sick of the notion that women have got to look like this and this and this, and they've got to have lips inflated as they sink as they get older and all this kind of thing. I dislike it. And my wife is 78 and she's covered with wrinkles, but I can't complain because I put most of them there during our 60 years together.
Yeah, it's one of the things I really love about being here is that I mean, I don't know, I've always felt myself big, probably about size 14 to 16, so I'm not enormous.
That's not big.
No, exactly. But in Greece, it is really definitely not big. So there are women of fantastic, glorious, enormous size, and they're all wearing bikinis. And so there's this idea that you have to have a bikini body.
I'd fit in well because I wear bikini here.
Yeah, they're loads easier to get on and off. I'm a convert.
So much easier.
Yeah, till I moved here. Right, so the next one I want to read you is called Flying with Fishes, and it's a bit self-indulgent, this, and it's about, it was a poem I wrote. I actually wrote half of it kind of in the water while I was snorkeling. It's a snorkeling poem. I am a cloud, casting undulating umbra over the bright rolling sea field furrows as I'm blown by the waves. The sleek, dark swallowfish scatter forked tails in forking directions. To them, I am a circling buzzard, disturbing the ordinary glory of their sunlit dances. The muddy little sparrowfish ignore me. They have no illusions, but they underestimate my joy at flitting with them across the hedgerow shallows. I join a tiding of magpie fish, crossing the currents to search the Posidonia for treasures, bold black stripes on their flanks flickering through the seagrass shadows. What is the word for the way that the wind rolls the waves? It's the same movement, exactly, as the way I shake out the soft sheet when I make the bed in the morning.
It's lovely.
Very beautiful.
Yeah, I love that. I love the bit about shaking the soft sheets, and I could just picture the water like that.
And
I wanted to close my eyes and be the cloud, sorry to interrupt, but I was like, I might look stupid if I'm sat there with my eyes shut.
well, I'm struggling with these varifocals, which they don't like Zoom. So
I don't know where mine are.
Forever doing this. I've meant to know what time I started, so I don't. Have I got time for 2 short ones about the same length as that, or one?
Maybe if they're sort of back to back, we could do 2 short ones. It's just,
Okay, I'll do short ones without. So one, I'll do another narrative one, which is less about swimming, but it's about the sea, and it's just it's one that people people laugh at it. It's called Watching for Dolphins. Across from the harbour where ferries come in, at the cheap cafeneo with tables of tin, sit some of the island's most sociable men, coming day after day and again and again. Another man joins them. They shuffle their chairs, making space for his baccy and cup next to theirs. They're watching for dolphins, these weathered old chaps, in their home-knitted jumpers and wear-to-bed hats. Sharing stories and laughter and sometimes tears too, meeting mornings and evenings for coffee and news. And Sundays they stroll after church with their wives to drink a metaxa and celebrate lives. They've met through the years for each baby's new birth, and whenever a parent was laid in the earth, and when Stavros ran off with Kier Giorgio's girl, and the time that young Andros set off round the world to find fame and fortune, all that was his plan, though in fact all he found was a battered old van, but it got him from home to the mountains and back, and the world isn't very much bigger than that. So they stare at the waves on the indigo sea, and they pity the people like you and like me, all the tourists who visit this island each day, stay only a few hours and then go away. For the walls of this cafe are thick with their fables, and their names are scratched deep in the blue painted tables. Yes, they're here forever, these happy old goats, watching dolphins and weather and people and boats.
That's lovely. Got that painted a lovely picture there. How lovely was that?
And then I'm going to finish with this one, which is called Drowning in Light, and why it's called Drowning in Light will hopefully be really obvious to you. The blues made us breathless, sent us head over heels, teal, steel, electric reeling over the horizon. The light flowed like liquid, and plunging into air, indigo going, we drenched ourselves in it. As the swollen sun rolled on the marvering sea, we swam in its scattered mercurial azure. Submerged in the sunset with its lustre on our tongues, we delightedly drowned in its moist turquoise joys. It was impossible to believe in winter then, and if we were not yet in love, we very soon would be.
Oh, beautiful.
That is gorgeous.
it's,
You've got just the right voice for it as well. I feel like I'm listening to an audio book when you talk. You've got such a lovely voice.
Well, if you win, doesn't it? Like,
Yeah.
captivated.
I'm like, next chapter, go.
That's
Oh,
nice.
they were lovely. I could listen to that forever. Really lovely.
Like the way in my mind it ties in with artwork that I've seen of yours. It was very visible to me.
Yeah.
You say it
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't, whether it paints pictures to people who haven't seen my illustrations as well, that would be interesting. I've got some illustrations. So these poems and some others are in a little publication called Egg in the Days, which is electronically available. And actually, I've run out of paper copies, so I've sold them all. So I haven't got any of those, but I'll stick the link in the chat if anybody's interested. But yeah, so there are some illustrations in there that Alan's seen, and but you've probably seen my other colourful ones as well, haven't you, Alan? Which are, yeah,
and sort of daguerreotypes and silhouettes and
yeah, my paper cuts as well. Yeah.
Yes, I like those. And there are quite a few people who do artwork, but they don't write. And writing's addictive, but it's very difficult to do properly, and I wish I could. Your poems give me lots of pleasure. I really like them. So, and actually, that the 11 o'clock swimmers, as I wrote it, I was thinking about you. There were poems of yours that that kind of evoked that and made me think that I could write poems about people rather than about things, and it would work. So, well, the people fascinate me because they're eccentric in all sorts of different ways, and every time I meet somebody new, I think, oh, that he looks very ordinary, and half an hour later, around the lake, he's as weird as all the others.
I love that poem you wrote about me. It's very quirky, Ellen. Yeah, I like it a lot.
But well, after I'm going to feel guilty doing this all night, aren't I? Like, but yeah, I'm going to have to move things on. I'm sure, like everybody else, it's just like time's going to be our enemy tonight, isn't it? But yeah, thank you. That was lovely, that, Fiona. I hope you can stay for a bit.
Yeah, I'm going to stay unless I start snoring and being antisocial.
One thing, just to say, I know a few people have got to shoot off, and I think Claire, our next guest, is one of them.
I do.
We have thought about this book here. I haven't even introduced myself. I've realised that, really. But in my day job, I do a lot of work in communities. I work for a council, but a lot of what I do is around community building in very different ways and trying to challenge all services to sort of listen to people and support them and their ideas. And one thing we ended up doing by doing something called ethnographic research, we went and met lots of different people who were coming in and out of contact with public services for some reason. And one lady I met was a 80-odd-year-old lady who unfortunately passed away. We did a poetry book with her just because she knew some people and they supported her to do it. And it's just a really, really simple thing. So it's something that Jane, one of our volunteers, said, oh, wouldn't it be great if we could capture some of these poems and have some kind of, if people would donate them, bring some of them to life in a booklet and tell stories about the people that have written them, and maybe talk a little bit about the ethos of the charity that encourages people to get out there and write poetry, maybe. But it's one thing. I just thought I'd mention it because I know a few people have got to go. But if we keep in touch as this is going along, that's the sort of thing that hopefully some of you guys could help us do. But yeah, Claire.
Hello. Well, I'm not going to take up a lot of time because I've only got one poem. I've only got one poem about swimming, and I'm new to wild swimming. I just as a little backdrop, I turned 60 in August, and I challenged myself to do 12 new things that scared me over the coming year. And I've nearly finished, actually, and I've been terrified a lot of the year. But the most joyful thing I did was I joined the Blue Tits Wild Swimmers, who swim only a 5-minute drive from me. So I'm very, very lucky. And then one of my second challenges was to do a poetry slam. And I was talking to the woman who organised it about the Blue Tits, and she said, well, there's your perfect poem focus. So that's what I did. I wrote this poem and performed it in Shrewsbury, and so you are the second time I've performed it. So there's a little tiny bit of swearing in it, but I don't think it's not not the C bomb. We're all right. So, blue tits. Swim ready means I've got my cosy on under my special coat. It means I'm up for it. I've got a torch to tow behind me in a float. I've joined a group on Facebook, international no less. I'm ready for wild swimming in a lake at night. It's scary, I confess. But the blue tits are all women and the vibe is really chilled. They gather in the pub car park, cold and rather thrilled. I nod and smile a greeting and ask, "Are you a tit?" Then trudge off through the woods with them. There's no alone in it. The harvest moon is gorgeous, though she slips behind the cloud. The iciness of the water makes me gasp and others shout aloud. You need to keep your shoes on for the fear that you might slip in centuries of goose shit, a most unpleasant trip. The night fishermen are miseries and bellow that we shouldn't be there. They refuse to reel their lines in and shout and curse and swear. 3 pointless pillocks proving they can outthink a fish, whose shock is quite apparent as in we plunge and swish. Out into black water. Out, out and around the buoy. Out, out again and back again. It's swim and chat and joy. Then from the water we clamber, dry off beside the lake. And when every tit is out and dry, we stand and they've brought cake. Back through the woods together, no woman left behind. I joined a group on Facebook, never dreaming I would find an international conspiracy of females who ignore bylaws and break the law on a regular basis to go wild swimming together whilst looking out for each other, packing cake and taking no shit from anglers.
Wow. I love it.
Hey. That was brilliant. I think we've all been there, haven't we?
Brilliant.
And
Brilliant.
all true.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, definitely all true.
Loved it.
But,
Very raw and true.
not the charity's opinion, just thought I'd put that in, that's playing the political safe game there, but yeah, it was, I've heard stories like that told before, so yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's definitely true.
Yeah. Is anybody else the blue tit? Do you know about them? Obviously you do.
I
no?
am. I'm one.
Yeah,
I'm one.
I know that they've got like quite a few different, haven't they? It's not like one place, is it? It's blue tits of sort
But
of.
all over the country. And
I just haven't found one in my area yet.
Yeah.
Oh really? Oh, where are you?
The northeast of England, County Durham.
Oh, I don't know of it. I've discovered blue tits groups all over the place. I was talking to a woman I was doing some work with, and she was a blue tit in Whitstable, and she said, obviously that's quite far from.
I've done a little bit of trying to find if there's any, but I haven't seen any in the area.
Because
So
they
maybe
like
I've
to.
just missed it or skimmed past. I don't know.
They swim under the radar a little bit, because in most places, like where we swim here, it's absolutely verboten, and you're not supposed to go into the water day or night, and so we kind of just think, well, what are they going to do?
Oh, that might be why I miss out.
Yeah,
Water
yeah.
vigilantes.
I'm up for a little bit of naughty, not a funny way, naughtiness.
Careful, this is not the place, Kathleen.
Yeah, I know, I had to watch my words.
I was
another
concerned discharge of sewage into the water, and went into the visitor centre to ask, because there's 5 lakes in Sutton Park, and the guy said no. He said there hasn't been a discharge since 1982. You're not planning on going swimming, are you? I said no, of course I'm not. And then I thought, well, I think we're safe until after the Commonwealth Games, because the triathlon is is in the park, so they're not going to put the cack in the water where the athletes are going to swim. So we're all right till the middle of next year.
Did you swim in the triathlon lake?
Yes, yeah. No, no, I don't. I've never been there. Yes, it's power. They swim, the Blue Tits swim in two different lakes in the park. The one on Wednesday night, and then there's one on Sunday mornings. But people, it's a very big group now, and people link up. Nobody wants to swim alone, obviously, but it's a great platform for people to just get together and, you know, have each other's back and pop for a swim. Yeah, but it's too cold for me now. I did Matlock Bath Spa last week. The water was 16 degrees. That was fine.
How warm?
Hey?
How warm was it?
16.
Oh wow, that's like a tropical pool to me.
No, but it's a spring-fed pool. It was built in the 30s, and it's like swimming in Evian because it's spring water that's naturally heated. It's lovely.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is amazing. Yeah, I've swum there. So, so how far from there? How big was the drive from there for you?
From here to Matlock, it's about an hour and a quarter.
Yeah, it's
So
about.
it's quite a jaunt, but it's worth it because it's just spectacular.
Yeah, me and Sally have swum there, haven't we, Sally?
Yeah.
Which is a nice segue in a way, isn't it, into Sally reading poems out potentially.
Oh, crikey, Lucky. Help.
But no, but yeah, but no, that was brilliant. That, thank you, Karen.
Thank you for inviting me.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and I know that you're very busy. If you can stay, you're more than welcome to, obviously. But we looks like with people happy for us to record, we'll pop this onto the chat and hi Sagar as well, who's just said hello in the chat.
Brilliant.
Hi.
Hi, how are you guys? Just wanted to say hi.
Hi.
I found you on Eventbrite,
Cool.
and it said that you do some work with water, clean water.
We do it all around and getting people to engage in the natural sort of blue spaces environments. So yeah, based on a book.
You're muted.
Pardon? Am I a Buddhist?
Oh, what?
Am I a Buddhist?
Sorry, never mind. Go ahead. I was mute. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm not particularly a Buddhist, but I do like the mindfulness side of stuff, definitely, in terms of connecting with things and nature. Cool. So it's Sally, I don't know if you want to read your poem out.
Okay, so I'll just do a little bit of background, which is that I am a volunteer for Bluetonic, and I'm also a swimming teacher and a open water lifeguard. So, and in lockdown last year, I did a poem a day for a year, which was a bit of a challenge, quite frankly. It started off really fun and then gradually got worse and worse as the year went on, as I ran out of things to write about because we were locked down. But I've just got one that I wrote when I was lifeguarding a few weeks ago, which that's only very, very short. I do rhyming poems, and I have an Instagram called Rhyming Sal. If you want to look at any, you can see all the ones I wrote in lockdown on there. This one's called Tips and Tricks. When I'm out lifeguarding on duty in my boat, watching all the swimmers as around they float, I sometimes wonder if they'd like a few little tips about their streamlining, head position and their hips. Would they be offended if I gave a short shout with, "Excuse me, do you know that your bum's sticking out? You'd go much straighter if you twisted a bit less, and all that splash kicking is a bit of a mess. Stop trying quite so hard to keep your hair dry, or that brilliant stroke looks like you don't need to try." Instead, I just smile and I count and I watch, not mentioning that their breaststroke is a bit hodgepodge. I am not there to give them swimming critique on how they maneuver or their arm technique. I'm there to ensure that they stay safe and enjoy as they swim in a circle around each buoy, and so that they return to the lake once again to swim in the great outdoors in sunshine or in rain. So that's a little one of things that go through my mind when I'm sitting in my boat, watching people and listening to their conversations.
It sounds bliss. That was lovely. Really
Thank
lovely.
you.
And it's
I liked that.
Rhyming Sal on Instagram, isn't it, Sally?
Oh yeah, there's millions. I mean, it was really hard to know what to pick because I was looking back over all my poems, and there was some about Bluetonic, and there was some about the swim we did last year, which was the final one, and the fact that I was missing swimming in lidos, missing swimming in lakes. There's hundreds of them, so it was really difficult to know which one to pick.
Yeah. No, and if you've got any more, Sally, you're more than welcome to read them out and stuff. But I know I've put you under the spotlight a little bit because Jane threw you forward.
She likes to throw me forward. There's one that I had. There's a little magazine here called Swimzine. I don't know if anybody's seen it. And I had one published, which is not really published, but there's one in there called Ode to Thetis that Jane and I wrote, which is really, really short. I can do that one quickly if you like.
Yeah, that'd be lovely. Yeah, really nice.
So, Ode to Thetis. Swimming today was a lovely delight. The water was balmy, the sun shining bright. The serious sports folk were off like a flash, swift as a serpent, not even a splash. Others amongst us went off steadily, with just the odd swan and ducks to see. The water was tepid, a comfortable 18, with the lake itself a blissful blue-green. Round and round we went, it felt great. We'll be back next week, as I just can't wait. In lockdown, we all had to change our behaviour, and without the pools, the lake was our saviour. That's the one in the magazine.
Agreed.
Encapsulates things for me, and I know for a lot of people during lockdown. But yeah. Oh, that was ace, Sally.
Thank you.
Yeah, and when Jane was coming up with an idea of a book, she did also say that you could potentially be one of the people that does some illustrating and things like that as well, just to pre-warn you, that's all.
Oh, crikey, Maeve. Not putting me on the spot at all there, are you?
Well, yeah, through Jane, but yeah, I'm a coward, aren't I, really? But yeah. But no, that was lovely. And is it Rivka? Sorry.
Rivka,
sorry. Yeah, I know that you sort of mentioned you wanted to read one. So with Sally being pretty quick there, do you want to? Sorry.
yes,
Read
it's
in?
quite. It's well, it's the first poem I've written about cold water swimming.
Cool.
I haven't read it out loud before. Okay, so cold swim high. A short climb down into the grey marl, 3 rungs and a plunge. Jettison slowly, but don't take too long. Shoulders under and move. Mother waits and gathers them. Eyes pool. Seeping streams and rasping chest. Breathe and move. Sploshy arms and a pink bobble. Numb fingers tug at limbs. Cold wobble and a dash under canvas. A buzz of chatter. Hot water bottles and steaming tea. Natural high. Stories shared. And a laughed goodbye.
Oh, that was lovely.
I wrote that about my last swim when we were all in the tent together at the end.
Yeah.
So just the whole thing was.
There's been a real sort of theme throughout nearly every single poem. Everybody always mentions the sort of camaraderie and the togetherness after a swim. There's not really, it's very difficult to explain, isn't it, unless you've experienced it. But everybody's mentioned it in their poems in one way or another. They've all kind of said, and then at the end, that feeling where you're all sort of the shivery bite, we call it, the shivery bite with the cake and the tea and the steam and the the way it makes you feel because you're already on a high after the swim.
Yeah.
Every single person's mentioned it in the poems, which is lovely.
Yeah. No, that was lovely. It was really nice. So yeah, Amy, I think we're on to you now. Amy's going to be one of our guests after Christmas. So yeah, no pressure, but if any of you guys want to come back onto our free chat, Amy's going to tell us a little bit about her life. So I'll let her do her own introduction and stuff. So welcome.
Thank you very much. I just actually popped onto this one tonight because I'm always scribbling something down. You know, I feel like a bit of an imposter here tonight, actually, because I'm not a proper poet by any stretch of the imagination, but sometimes you become a wee bit overwhelmed with words and they come spilling out sometimes, whether you like it or not, you know. So usually after a couple of glasses of wine, and mine usually are quite ridiculous and have lots of sweary words, so I tried to keep it as tame as I possibly could tonight. Generally with my poems, just to give you a bit of a background, I started a group called the Swans of a Beach about 2 years ago, generally because I'm always saying son of a bitch. It's something that I'm well known for saying instead of my real sweary words in front of my children. So we made a play in the words and we called our group Swans of a Beach. And we're about 970 strong now in this small little village of Lower Largo in Fife. Everybody just kind of jumped on the bandwagon, and you know what it's like, you become quite evangelical about wild swimming once you get the bug, and it just took off like wildfire. And my poems are just brain farts really after I've been in the water, and I kind of feel compelled to write things down. Some of them rhyme, some of them don't, but they're very short and I won't keep you long. Thanks for listening. Here we go. Okay, so the first one's called The Swans. Just really is a wee bit of dedication for my wee swan family that we have, or my big swan family now, and this is just to kind of explain a wee bit about how I feel when I'm in the water, I guess, and how she's always there for me. It's a bit of, she's a constant for me. So this one's called The Swans. I can hear the water calling, her sung song by seraphim, the drum of water on the sand with waves like violin. I face her in her glory, she sings her song so tender, caressing toes with golden shores, I feel my soul surrender. I feel her biting softly, my body has awoken, she whispers secrets to my soul without a word being spoken. She blankets me with salt and silk and moves me with the tide. She calms my restless spirit, so contentment can reside. I feel her pull me near her, I wander deeper still. She asks to take my burdens and I surrender to her will. Is there any gift that's greater than the blessings of the sea? I can hear the water calling us, my sisters, my swans, and me. So that was the first one I done just after I first started swimming. I'm going to go down to another one here. Like I said, these are all really short.
Oh, that was really good. That was really nice.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Here we go. This one's called The Game. I'm sure we all recognise this. Like I say, I swim in the sea all the time, so you never really get two swims the same. All just as nice as each other though. So she's angry today with her push and pull, reminding me again that she's not for accommodating. She's digging boulders, changing the landscape, letting me know she's still in charge. She throws her weight around and we tickle the sands below, trying to navigate through her volatile labyrinth. I'm here, she says. We know, we reply, secretly appeasing her with our trepidation. But we continue on, never beaten, always cautious, smiling at her wicked ways. What's next, we ask her, never pensive, always hopeful, and she always plays the game.
Wow.
Lovely.
Thank you.
And it's making
Very beautiful.
Fife is on my hit list as well for a road trip at some point, definitely.
It'll be ace. Oh, I would love you to come up. It'd be great if you could swim up here.
Yeah, yeah.
If,
I'll probably won't swim up there, but yeah.
I've heard you're a strong swimmer, Scott.
Yeah. I'm decent, but I'm not that. Oh, yeah. But no, it sounds wonderful. I love looking at the stuff that you're doing with the swans. Yeah. Have you got any more that you want to?
I've got a wee quick one here called Home, and then I'll finish off with one called Mother.
Yeah, cool.
So, wee tiny one, Home. Again, this is really just what it means to me, I guess. Show me the wandering waters, and I'll lead you to shore by the hand. Show me the want and the will to be free, and I'll show you where silk meets the sand. When your body feels heavy and weary, and your burdens seem too much to bear, just follow the sound of the winds and the waves, and you know that I'll always be there. Tell me your heart needs some healing. I'll bathe it in salt in the sea. When your mind's overflowing with feeling, bring your sweet soul home to me.
Oh, I like that one.
Beautiful.
I really like that from the sort of that, you know, the restorative thing that I talked about of water healing and you know, the heart stuff as well.
The reset, isn't it? Just the reset button for me every day.
Because you've got people up there, haven't you? I don't want to start your talk yet, but they were being referred in, aren't they, from the NHS and stuff?
Yeah.
Group and things, which is amazing.
Yeah, so the GP's kind of referring folk over just now just for mental wellbeing and amongst other things. And there's the group Cuddy as well, who does the men's mental health in particular. So yeah, there's a lot going on just now to try and sort of incorporate the cold water swimming and really with the mental health tie-in. But there's lots of different things that we're doing it for, but the GP's referring more and more over just now, which is just lovely to see, and it's really helping quite a lot of folk.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's lovely. Right, this is my last one, and then I'll crack on because I'm quite nervous. I'll get this one done and then I'll tell you a wee bit about this. This is one for my mother. So my mum's amazing. She's a tiny little woman. God knows how she managed to push me out. I'm 5'11" and about 3 times as wide as her, but she's a tiny wee woman, and she's been watching me in the water every day for the last 2 years. And it was due to her really my love of the water, because she always had us brought up next to the water in Loch Ness and Balloch, and that's kind of where my pool was, to come back and live next to the beach, because I wanted my children to experience that. I've got 2 autistic children, and my upbringing next to the water really made a massive difference to me, and I really wanted to incorporate that into their lives, and it's proven to make, you know, really help them through lots of things. Anyway, so mum's moved up here. I moved here about 6 years ago to provide a better life for the kids, and she sort of followed suit and joined me 2 months later and moved across the country. So she eventually came into the water, and she's been in every day since about 3 months ago, and that was her. So this is for mum. Shrieking, she walks in slowly, smiling like a kid in a candy store. Sharp breath in as the icy water sweep around her warm skin. Inhale, exhale, rapidly. It's cold today. First time in the ocean for many years. You can tell she's familiar, but shock takes over and she screams because she loves it, hates it, and loves it again. Eyes on the prize, get the shoulders under, not to be outdone by her daughter. She knows me, she shows me she knows best, and always will. She takes it in her stride, as she always does, fearless. Lying back, she rides the tides, floating with toes peeking at the surface. She's done it, I knew she would. She smiles and we take a selfie. What a memory. She comes in again on another day, not quite so warm this time, but with the same excitement. Smiling, laughing, full of fun. I remember this. I remember this from long ago, connecting in familiar old ways when I was a child and she was my hero, is my hero, is. So tiny she must feel this more than me. The ice nips at my bare skin. Doesn't this hurt you? Not at all, she reassures me, but I can tell it does. But she's smiling, eyes fixed on me in the fizz of the froth, and she floats and floats and floats. She comes in the next day, wind and waves, sun and rain and swells. She sews her towel on the beach and changes in the sand. I help her with her suit, zipped up, tight neck, awkward straining. Why are you doing this? Because, she says, I get to do it with you.
Oh, beautiful.
That's it. That's my lucky
Stunning.
Oh, lovely poems, Amy.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. That's really nice.
Yeah, that's it. That's my lot. That's what the sea means to me just now. So thanks for listening.
Well,
that was really weird saying them out loud in front of people.
Yeah, it
I've
was
never done that
lovely.
before.
and it makes me feel so warm looking at that fire. It makes me want to.
Yeah, it's really cozy.
Oh, it's made me want a wee dram of whiskey.
I've actually sent my husband out to get some as we speak. So I'll have one for you.
Oh, cool.
I've got to nip off now, Scott, so I'm going to say goodbye to everybody.
Bye.
Bye, Sally.
Thanks again.
They're really lovely. All those poems were brilliant. I really enjoyed it.
Take care. Thank you. And we'll speak.
Bye, Sally. Take care.
Okay, bye.
Aye.
Hi, everybody. So, yeah, we've got Kathleen then. No,
I don't know when I press on my screen because I didn't charge me other device properly. If I'll not, you'd be. I can't get the words out if you'd be able to see us, but I'll read it and then read something anyway.
but no pressure now, is it? After all that.
Oh, I know they're all so beautiful. And I write in a different style. I just write about my experience of the mindfulness of how I've changed from start to now. So it's quite different to the way these all write. And I'm like, oh. So, but yeah. So for those who don't know, as I've lost 20 stone a year and a half cold water swimming, and I've regained a lot of my mobility. So I don't want to go into too much because you'll hear it in the reading. Right, I'm just going to click off now. So if I disappear, I'm still here. Right, I don't know if you can see us or not.
You've got a photo.
Just see your picture, Kathleen. Still see
Oh, that'll be good enough. So I'll start with this one. So it's talking about my journey. Oh, where had I gone? I could not stand, or I'd stumble and fall. My back felt like I was being crushed from outside, and I just could not take the pain. I wished so many times that I'd close my eyes and sleep forevermore, then I'd be free from all this agony. I looked in the mirror, that's not me, staring back at me. The sheer misery was plain to see. I felt the distraught with every single thought as this overtook what was once me. Something gave me a great big kick and a push to get past that pain and to live again. I was in total misery with the UK lockdown and no one to push me and make me say that I was losing sight of the real me. Oh, my only pleasure and relief was listening to music and my new friends sing. The music brought me back to thinking about how this can be. Why not try and find some of the old me? I tried to sing, or everyone tells me to stop singing, their ears can't take that sound. I can't sing beautifully. If you listen, I know you would agree. Tone deaf as me, but I did not care. That was all I had left of me. Social media became my companion, and I loved the sight of lost the sight of the real me. I grabbed me back tight, and with it came a great big burst to get up and be free in the sea. How did this happen? Everyone asked me. I stammer and think, I can't tell you as I don't know myself. It was just me. My only answer is I saw my beautiful sister's photo posted when swimming in the sea. I cried that moment instantly. Thought, why could that not be me? Swimming alongside them, both in the sea. I picked up my phone and I cried with twisted face while gritting my teeth, saying to my sister, I'm greener than the green-eyed monster. And the agony entwined with green jealousy. The echo came towards me. Stop it, give me a go, just try to see. My sibling said, you need it, we will help you. Don't keep moaning, just get up and try. It might be the last chance you will ever get in that sea. Oh, that moment came. The thought twisted and I gritted my teeth again as I stood up tall on my feet, wobbling and trying to forget the pain. I got onto the beach and I no longer was on my feet. I stumbled and fell, but I got back up on my feet, holding onto my stick so tightly with my fingers and thumbs so numb. Oh, I was in such agony. As I shuffled, my feet was in so much pain ingrained in me, and I'd been bent forward for quite some time. I held onto my hips and believe me, I had not been able to hold the sheer weight of my chest as it was just completely heavy. My hips did not give me any stability while moving into the sea. Oh my, what is this? I am pain free in the water that holds me so easily. The sea is now ingrained in me. The pain is a strain that is part of me, but stop and listen now. I no longer fight. It gives me a new sight to living my life readily. The sea is music to my ears, just like the music I listen to in tone with my life to set me free. I live and I'm just me. So can we wouldn't you all agree? The pure joy is in my eyes, shows in my honesty, and it glows so brightly for you and me. So that was that one.
Brilliant.
My goodness, what a journey, Kathleen.
Yeah.
Pardon?
I said, my goodness, what a journey.
Yeah, I don't know if it read well because I'm dyslexic, so when I read, I'll like.
No,
So
it read very well. I understood.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
did.
good.
That was brilliant.
It
Evelyn.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That I know that thing as well of moving into water and the pain vanishing. But it made me, I really recognise that. So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
yeah.
it felt
amazing.
incredible. It just felt
It's
like
amazing,
I was.
isn't it?
and I-
Yeah.
I'm not very good at expressing exactly how I feel, but I can if I'm doing it creatively.
Mm.
So that's the way I do that. Have I got time to read one more? Because that was a
Yeah.
bit lengthy.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll find you one more.
Oh, what a lovely evening anyway. I think.
Pardon?
What a lovely evening it's been anyway so far.
Been beautiful, hasn't it?
Yeah, really nice.
Do you have
Been
any
really
thought? Are you going
nice.
to do any after this?
I don't have any. I could read one from the old lady in the window, but do you know what? I get really nervous reading, but I can read one of hers. It's about a little girl sat by a lily pond.
I get really nervous reading.
Yeah.
It's weird, isn't
And
it?
the dyslexia, like, it's a pain in the bum. And I'll be a second, sorry.
But yeah, I'm in awe at you guys because I'm not confident enough to write stuff, but this makes me want to. So it's.
Oh, I hope you do.
Yeah.
Just do it. Yeah, just do it.
But it's
I've
imagining
got a little
someone like
project
me
that I'm
becoming
going to be
inspired, you know. So, yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's fine, Kathleen. But yeah, what were you saying?
I've got a little project coming where I'm actually going to get paid for co-writing some reportry over something.
Oh,
But I can't say too much because it's hush-hush at the moment.
right. Yeah. If any of this like helps to inspire other people, like me on the fringes of doing it or whatever, I just think it'd just be lovely. Yeah.
I'll read the last thing one I wrote, if that's all right with you.
Yeah, that's cool.
The sea and me. The sea has always been my escape from the uneven rocky path I've journeyed through, broken and cracked, and often at face value as I plant the surface totally face first. My body does not work for me quite the way I would want it to, but who knew that water would gift me right back. I sink beneath the cold ice sea with amazing serendipity. The water surrounds me, embraces all of me. No matter the size or uncertainty, I've lived my life feeling so alone. No matter that was never really true. It was my mind that was distant and lonely deep inside of me. 'Twas the sea that created a positive sense of reality. I have a beautiful, great big network and family. I was lost in the darkness way beyond the truth of reality, frosted and cold with walls as thick as solid gold, and not a chance I would let anyone break me free. Truth is reality. I was scared of uncertainty. I locked myself away from my pride and dignity. I was drifting so deep, it was impossible to see a second beyond the one that just passed me. Tick-tock, rocks would crumble inside of me. Tick-tock went every inch of me. As I was in a world of misery. Then 2020, not the drink, but the air. Life became a beautiful reality. The sea was calling me. And what was always plain to see just took a shock reality to make me try a new way and finding me. I entered the sea with no dignity. My face was planted in the grains of the sand so many times, and that was below my feet. I get up and I stumble a little further. My body could not hold the enormity of the weight that was smothering me. I have shuffled on my bum the last few yards to enter the sea, as no way I was given into the harsh reality. The sea breeze blew through my long dark curly hair, my eyes streaming tears of joy and sheer tenacity. I made it from the shore to the ocean deep as my shoulders submerged underneath the deep dark blue sea. My mind became free instantly from sheer sadness that had always surrounded me. I not only found the sea with glee, I also became part of a whole new community. I can never stairs. I could never read that word. I don't know what it means. no glares, no mean words are spoken to me, just open arms and smiles have brightened up my life for all to see. The sea found me and I found you. This is sure one of the most beautiful things that could ever have happened to me. It saved my life and gave me joy and happiness and a hope and love to all of you. That's it.
Brilliant.
Oh,
Fantastic.
well done.
Yeah,
I'm not very good at reading. I can't even read one of the words and I know what it means.
So you
Do
really
yourself
poured
an
your heart and soul into that, though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
man,
was-
try. Like, you know, when you're reading something and you're thinking back and like, oh gosh. I don't show emotion either normally. I like close by. I show happiness, but yeah.
That's
It's
a
mad.
tough read, though. That's a huge amount that you've been through, Kathleen.
Yeah,
That
that's
must be
just
tough
like
reading it
I
back
did
again.
recently did an article for a poetry site, somebody who does a poetry blog online, called Dawn Swimmers. She's on I shared a lot Instagram. I went on a like a little chat she had with another poet, somebody who writes poetry, and she was like, "Oh my goodness, your words are so beautiful. We write them." No. But I ended up doing it nearly a 2,500 word article, and that's like heart wrenching. I thought I was reading about somebody else, even though I know it was me. It was like, ugh, it just gritted us. So yeah, I'm learning I can write, but not quite. Not obviously I'm dyslexic, so the grammar and the spelling's terrible. But I know I can use words.
No,
Yeah.
your word sounded fine to me, Kathleen. I understood
Oh,
it absolutely fine.
I think it was really powerful, Kathleen. Really,
Yep,
yeah,
for sure.
completely hooked.
Yeah, and it's all of you that gave me all this power. I know I've had to embrace it, but it's the swimming community that made us grow, because I didn't have anything that I thought anybody would like. And that's been from being a small child, being bullied all the way through life. So it's not until I posted my first post on Seaside Swimmers and Outdoor Swimming Society that like I just like, oh, maybe there is something more about us.
And I think that, you know, when I mentioned those 5 ways of wellbeing earlier on, Kathleen, that you just really, your story really encapsulates it. And it's not, I'm not saying that Bluetonic can take credit for your story in any way, but what I mean is it's like the charity is more or less a sort of an ethos in a way. There's a, you know, and you really encapsulate it, because, you know, you definitely have turned things around by being around people, learning from those people, obviously moving and being active, being present in the moment and connecting with your surroundings more. And then you are now giving so much back from that to other people in the way you're inspiring other people to be the same. So yeah, just thank you, really.
No, I thank you. That's just it. It's all of the swim community. I would never have gone like I have, and I would never have tried to. So I mean, I even sang in the theatre concert. I know I was in the choir, but I did that with among people, and that was scary. And that would never have been an option in my life.
Yeah. And
it just opened up so many avenues. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, and this whole evening really was like it was inspired by Alan, actually, just by me seeing some of his stuff and him coming on the talk and me having a few chats with Alan. I know he's shaking his head, but that's what spawned the idea. And it is just seeing people's stories and seeing people's things that makes you have a look and sort of think, oh, I wonder if there's anybody else, and shall we cast the net out and see who else joins in. And it was just so lovely tonight that people have joined in. So thanks everybody for joining in. And Alan, I don't know if you
I've loved listening to everyone tonight
out there with something to say,
Yeah.
but too shy to present it in a format like this.
Yeah.
But breaking through that is quite difficult.
Yeah, and I think that's where the charity wants to be, is that if we can provide a platform, you know, I'm not coming on here as a poet trying to do anything. I'm just like, if we can provide a bit of a platform for people and it helps and it connects folk, that's great. And I don't know if you want to do one more just to sort of and say anything, Alan, just to close things, but yeah.
I've got it. It's a bit long. You might like it.
Yeah. That's fine. I mean, I'll have to go just after 9, but yeah, that'll be fine.
It's just after 9 now. Maybe it'd be better just to leave it because this goes on a bit, and only half the people are left now anyway.
All right, so I'd like to hear it, but I don't know what other folk think.
Yeah, I'd like to hear it. I love the one you wrote about me. It's so cheeky and raw.
Well, I asked you about it on the riverbank. I said, I'm going to write about you, and some of it will be a bit cheeky. How much do you mind? And you said, not
Yeah,
at all.
bring it on. As much as you want. Tongue in cheek, great.
This is about two people. They're not real, but they could be. There's a woman who operates up in the northeast, your part of the country, and she's built up something called the Northeast Skinny Dip over the last 8 years.
I want to go to that up.
Yeah, well, you should. And the thing that struck me most about that is how little people who were a bit bigger or a bit skinnier or a bit different were just encouraged to go, because nobody there would laugh at them. Nobody would say unkind things about them. And that proved to be the case. So I got this thing where it was actually Victoria Wood wrote a song and performed it. And it was about the lady who wanted the gentleman to be a bit more loving to her. And he kept making excuses, like he got to grout the kitchen ceiling or something. So this is my take on somebody being persuaded to take part in skinny dipping. Two swimmers on the shore one day, the water cold, the sky was grey, the fringes froze with spiky ice. Don't go in is my advice. Malcolm stood tall and sniffed the air. He'd never felt so debonair. Evelyn shook with twitching nerves and wondered how to hide her curves. Then he said, let's do it. Let's do it. Time to show some attitude. I'm exposing that gorgeous body. Let's go nude. Time to strip, ready for the dip. Time to disrobe or letting inhibition slip. Let's do it. Let's do it now. I can't do it. I won't do it. What we're doing don't feel right. I'm trying, but sighing, scared I'm going to look a sight. As rescue, I'd best go to get a few necessities down at Tesco. I can't do it. I won't do it today. But he said, let's do it. Let's do it. Here's a chance we have to seize, be pliant, defiant, bear all and face the chilly breeze, be efficacious and audacious. Time for us to push for something quite outrageous. Let's do it. Let's do it right now. Can't do it, won't do it, do not understand the rush, not ready, unsteady. I've had no chance to trim my bush, not tasteful, nor spatial, because my entire body badly needs a facial. I can't do it today. Let's do it, we can do it. Stretch up like the tallest tower, be brave, let's rave, breathe in and fill your heart with power. Prevarication and hesitation, this is not the time for dreadful consternation. Let's do it right now. I can't do it, still can't do it. Makes me feel down in the mouth, feel shabby and flabby, and both my boobs are moving south. With no regalia, I'm a failure. Don't want them peering at my genitalia. I can't do it. I can't do it now. Can't do it. Can't do it. It would be a huge mistake. I'm not bold and far too old, especially if you don't give cake. We grannies, our plan is not get freezy water in our nooks and crannies. I can't do it. I can't do it today. He said, let's do it. We must do it. To go home now would just be rude. You really ought to jump in the water. It doesn't matter if you're nude. Stop that sighing. No more crying. Think of all the chocolate cake I'll soon be buying. Let's do it. Let's do it right now. And they did.
Wow. You made us cry.
Great stuff, Alan. Yeah, really nice.
Very powerful.
But,
My wife told me I wasn't to sing it because I'm tone deaf, but
Yeah.
the rhythm of it makes you want to sing the tune.
yeah, it makes me
I've
want.
just wrote a song, but you're not getting to listen to it.
I'll have to do singing next time. But yeah,
Get your earplugs and paracetamol.
Bluetonic singing with Kathleen, we can do that. But yeah, that was great. And I think the whole evening was great, wasn't it? We were a bit nervous, Alan,
Beautiful.
about who would turn up and would anyone turn up? Would it just be me and you? And it hasn't been, has it? So it's really.
I'd like to think that if you did it again in 6 months or a year's time, that there'd be people fighting to get in.
Yeah, and we can do that,
Yeah.
can't we? We can do that. We can, run these things, and it's nice that we've had people turn up from like around, literally all over the world tonight. So that's a
Been
first,
incredible.
that's a first for us. Before today it was Northern Ireland, and I think we did have someone from Sweden in something before. But thanks everybody. I know we've gone a little bit over by 5 minutes, and I know that some people have to leave early anyway. But yeah, I thought it was a really wonderful evening, and keep in touch by following us on social media, and hopefully
I'll buy one of them swim hats and I'll wear it.
Oh, that's lovely if you can, Kathleen. It's nice if people can. I know they're a little bit more expensive, and if people can afford to do that, it's fine. But yeah, it's just helps us a little bit. So take care, everyone.
You too.
And Alan, maybe we can catch up as soon as I come out of lockdown on that day after Boxing Day.
Get down to that lake and smash it.
Yeah, I'll be ready, won't I? So I don't know if you're around the day after Boxing Day, but we can keep in touch and maybe we can do that. Because
I'm okay, by the way. I did. It went in. It was 3.8 degrees.
Yeah.
Centigrade, and I got in just with my knickers on.
Yeah.
And I'm just over 300 meters.
Yeah, I won't be able to do that. But
5 degrees up here at the minute, but incredible.
yeah, yeah, I'm a bit nervous because I haven't built up my immunity this year. I haven't kept going in, so but I just need to get back in.
Being used to the cold water, I missed 2 months, so it was a bit of a shock for me as well.
I can imagine. Alan, it was a pleasure to meet you, by the way. It was very unexpected, and it was just like, oh my God, I'm Alan. I'm like,
oh, I know you.
Yeah, I know. I was like really strange the week after I did my little thing on here, and there you were on the riverbank.
We got the full effect, one of the magnificent bikinis as well.
Yeah, it was incredible.
It was fantastic, but lovely to meet you guys that are left and everybody else as well. So we'll pop
everybody else. Yeah, good night, everyone.
YouTube, and you can see yourselves now as superstars in the future. This will be where it started. It was only the beginning.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Merry Christmas.
Bye.
Merry Christmas all. Take care.